All right, today we're going to unlock what our source material calls the single most important trait for building a positive character. And it's probably not what you're thinking, but it's the thing that holds everything else up. So let's dive in.
So we're kicking things off with the absolute core idea of this whole explainer. And wow, that's a powerful statement, right? It's not just saying self-control is a nice little habit to have. It's saying it's the foundation, the bedrock of who you are. It's basically the soil where all the other good stuff, all those other virtues can actually start to grow.
Okay, so if we're calling it the foundation, what does that actually mean? What even is self-control when you get right down to it? Let's get a really clear definition on the table.
Now, see, this is the key right here. The really interesting thing is that emphasis on the pause. It's not about being some kind of robot that never has an impulse, not at all. It's about your ability to create a little bit of space, a buffer, between that I want to do this now feeling and what you actually do. It's in that space that you get to think about the consequences. And that is what gives all your other positive traits, like honesty or kindness, a fighting chance to come out.
All right, so we've got our foundation. Now let's see how it helps us build that first huge block of character, something we all want to be, a responsible person.
Yeah, and the source material is super direct about this. Think about it. Being responsible, choosing to finish your work instead of just flopping on the couch. That isn't our default setting, is it? It requires you to sacrifice that immediate comfort. And that mental effort, that muscle you have to flex, well, that's fueled by self-control.
And this breaks down that mental process perfectly. Look at it. First, you have to literally stop whatever else you'd rather be doing and actually consider what you're supposed to do. Then you have to make that positive choice to get it done. And finally, you have to actually follow through and fulfill the obligation. Self-control is the engine that drives you through every single one of those stages. Without it, you just get stuck at step one, ignoring what needs to get done.
Okay, so that's responsibility. Let's move on to the next building block. And honestly, this one can be even tougher because it's all about our real-time interactions with other people. We're talking about respect.
Just take a second and really think about this. Someone says something rude to you, they cut you off in traffic, they're just dismissive. What's that immediate gut reaction you feel? Because right there, in that split second, you're at a critical fork in the road, and the two paths in front of you lead to very different places.
And this just illustrates the point perfectly. The easy path, the impulsive path, is revenge, right? Just lash out, disrespect them back. It feels good for a split second, but it just kicks off this downward spiral of hate and negativity. But the other path, the self-control path, that requires you to stop, to take that breath, to consider the outcome and realize that hitting back just makes everything worse. That's what allows you to break the cycle and choose restraint, to choose respect.
So we've seen how self-control is the foundation for being responsible and for being respectful. So let's put this all together and figure out what it means for us in our day-to-day lives.
Okay, so here's the crucial takeaway. Developing your self-control has this amazing multiplier effect on your whole character. It lets you choose duty over ease, and boom, that builds responsibility. It lets you choose restraint over retaliation, and there you go. That builds respect. And the most empowering thing here is that every single time you make one of these small, hard choices, you are actively strengthening that self-control muscle. You're building your character one decision at a time.
And so I'll just leave you with this final thought to chew on. As you go about the rest of your day, just be on the lookout for that moment. What's one choice you'll face where you can practice that pause between your impulse and your action? Because according to our source material, that's not just some small, meaningless choice. That's the very practice of building your character. Thanks for watching.